Welcome back, and thanks for joining us as we continue from where we stopped in our last post. Why most people fail at consistency and how to become the kind of person who never has to start over again. That's a great point. Small habits lead to extraordinary lives. It's about discipline shaping your identity and your environment. We've discovered something important today. Your future isn't hidden somewhere out there. It is quietly being built by what you repeatedly do. Not once, not when you feel motivated, not when life is easy, but every ordinary day. Yet here's the reality. Most people don't fail because they lack dreams. They fail because they lack systems. Think about how many times people say, this year will be different. This Monday I'm starting. Next month I'll become disciplined. From tomorrow, everything changes. Really? How so? And for a few days, they're full of excitement. They wake up early, they eat healthy. Someone gets sick. They miss one day. One missed day becomes one missed week. One missed week becomes one missed month. Eventually, they convince themselves they failed. So they stop. Not because they weren't capable, but because they expected transformation to happen without interruption. Exactly. That's the myth. Let's challenge one of the biggest lies in personal development. The lie is this: successful people never lose motivation. That's simply not true. High performers get tired. Entrepreneurs doubt themselves. Athletes have bad days. Authors experience writer's block. Leaders feel overwhelmed. The difference isn't that they avoid these moments. The difference is that they don't let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Discipline isn't the absence of struggle. It's choosing your long-term values over your short-term feelings. That distinction changes everything. Imagine you're walking through a city where a magnificent cathedral is being built. You stop and ask a worker, "What are you doing?" That's a great question. He replies, "I'm laying bricks." Another worker says, "I'm building one wall." A third smiles and says, "I'm helping create something that will stand for generations." All three are doing the same physical task, but mentally, they're living in completely different worlds. That's fascinating. The first sees labor. The second sees progress. The third sees legacy. How you think about your habits determines whether you'll continue them. When you wake up to exercise, you're not just exercising. You're becoming someone who honors their body. When you save money, you're not simply avoiding spending. You're becoming someone who values freedom over impulse. When you read every day, you're not just finishing books. You're becoming someone whose thinking improves every year. Habits are never just actions. They are identity in motion. People often say, "I don't have enough discipline." But discipline is rarely the real problem. Let's explore the deeper reasons habits fail. They try to change everything at once. Someone decides they'll wake up at 5 a.m., exercise daily, read 2 books a week, stop eating sugar, learn a language, start a business, meditate, journal. And that's why habits really fail. By day 5, they're exhausted. Change becomes overwhelming because they confused ambition with strategy. Transformation isn't about adding 20 new habits. It's about mastering one habit until it becomes part of who you are. Exactly. They depend on motivation. Motivation is like weather. Some mornings the sun shines, other mornings it's cloudy. If your success depends on sunny days, your progress will always be inconsistent. Instead, create routines that continue regardless of how you do. That's a great point. Ask yourself, what's the smallest version of this habit I can still complete today? If your goal is to read 30 pages but you're exhausted, read 1 page. If your goal is a 1-hour workout, do 10 minutes. If your goal is writing a chapter, protect the habit before protecting the number. Consistency over intensity. Exactly. Consistency is more valuable than intensity. Human behavior is influenced by environment more than most people realize. Like this? Exactly. Imagine trying to eat healthier while your kitchen is filled with junk food, or trying to study with constant phone notifications, or trying to sleep early while watching videos until midnight. Sometimes the problem isn't your willpower. It's your environment. If you want better habits, design an environment that makes good decisions easier. Put the book on your pillow. Leave your running shoes by the door. Prepare healthy meals in advance. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Success often begins with making the right choice the easiest choice. Let's go deeper. Suppose 2 people are offered a cigarette. The first says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." "Want one?" "No thanks, I don't smoke. I'm good." Both refuse. But notice the difference. One is fighting an old identity. The other is speaking from a new identity. The words we use reveal the stories we believe about ourselves. That's a powerful perspective. If you constantly say, "I'm lazy, I'm always late, I'm bad with money, I'm not disciplined," eventually your brain begins to protect that identity. Instead, begin saying, "I'm becoming more disciplined. I'm learning to manage money wisely. I'm someone who keeps promises to myself." Identity shapes behavior. I once heard about a man who had started the gym over 20 times. Every January he joined, every February he stopped. Every year he blamed himself. Finally, someone asked him a different question. Not, "Why do you keep quitting?" but, "What kind of life are you trying to build?" That question changed everything. He realized his goal wasn't 6-pack abs. Wow. His goal was to live long enough to see his grandchildren grow up. Suddenly, exercise wasn't punishment. It became an purpose transformed discipline. Take 30 seconds. Ask yourself, why do I want the goals I've chosen? Why do you want to be successful?
To provide for my family.
Why is that important?
I want a better job.
Why?
So I can earn more.
Why?
So I can reduce financial stress.
Why?
So my family can feel secure.
Now you've found something meaningful. Meaning creates endurance. Many people fail because they expect overnight transformation. But imagine improving just 1% every day. One better conversation. One healthier meal.
One chapter read.
One extra client call. One kind word. One courageous decision. These seem insignificant in isolation. Yet over months and years, they compound into an entirely different life. Success rarely arrives with fireworks. It often arrives disguised as ordinary days repeated consistently. Instead of setting goals alone, build systems. For example, if your goal is financial stability, your system might be track every expense. Save automatically every payday. Learn one new financial principle each week. If your goal is improving your career, your system could include read for 20 minutes daily. That's practical. Systems reduce decision fatigue. When you know what today's actions are, you don't waste energy wondering what to do next. That makes sense. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence weakens. Not because you're incapable, but because trust is built through consistency. Think about someone you deeply trust. Why do you trust them? It's their reliability, because their actions consistently match their words. Now ask yourself, can you become that kind of person for yourself? Can your actions match the promises you make? Self-confidence is not merely believing you can succeed. It's knowing you'll show up even when success isn't immediate. Practical 30-day challenge. For the next 30 days, choose one habit. Choose one habit. Not 5, not 10, 1. Make it small enough that excuses become difficult. Then every evening ask yourself, did I complete it today? What obstacle got in my way? What did I learn? How can tomorrow be slightly better? Don't chase perfection. Chase consistency.
If there's one truth I hope you carry from this conversation, it's this. You don't build an extraordinary life through extraordinary days.
You build it through ordinary days lived with extraordinary intent.
Powerful. Every small decision matters. Every promise you keep matters. Every habit you repeat matters. Because the life you dream about isn't built in one dramatic moment. It's quietly being built by the choices you make when nobody is watching.
We've talked about purpose, we've talked about habits, but there's one obstacle that silently destroys more dreams than almost anything else. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. In the next part, we'll uncover why fear has such power over us, how successful people learn to work with it instead of against it, and why courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision that something else is more important than fear itself.
So, if you remember only one thing from this conversation, remember this. You don't need to become a completely different person overnight. You simply need to make one better choice today and then make it again tomorrow, because your habits are shaping your identity, and your identity is shaping your future. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't punish yourself when you stumble. Just come back. Start small. Keep your promises to yourself. Design your environment for success.
I like that.
And trust the power of small actions repeated over time. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the life you wanted wasn't created by one extraordinary decision. It was created by thousands of ordinary decisions you made when nobody was watching. So tonight, choose one habit, one promise, one small action that moves you toward the person you want to become. And tomorrow, do it again. Because your future self is being built by what you do today. And when fear eventually shows up, and we'll have to decide whether we're going to let it control our choices,
or whether we're finally ready to choose courage.
That's where we go next.
Until then, remember, small habits create strong identities. Strong identities create lasting change. And lasting change creates an extraordinary life. See you in part 5.